eraser and a marker handy. Colored and dark colored marker, pencil, crayon, whatever it might be, just as long as one's light and one's dark. Whee! So you'll need those. I'm going to be starting my pencil, and if you have it, start with your light tool. Hello, hello. And if you have other, you can mix them together. As long as you're having fun, that is priority today and any day, because drawing should be fun. Sometimes it can get quite frustrating, definitely quite frustrating, but you know what? In the end, we just wrap it up drawing something we really, really like, and that's the way. Comments or on Twitch, feel free to shoot me an email. Also, if it is a little laggy, please let me know. It's not much I could do, but I'll try my best. But for now, let's get started. So one of the requested characters, which depending on how you look at her and depending on what series you look at, was Catwoman. Catwoman is definitely a villain and not a villain, but in the new DC superhero girls, she is definitely a villain. So I think we are going to start off with drawing her today. Let me just put a paper underneath here because my messy table is exactly see-through. Alrighty, so for the Catwoman that we will be drawing today, one thing you have to keep in mind is that we're going to start the same way with a circle, but this circle that we're starting with today is going to be more of an oval, so it's going to be wider than it is taller. So draw yourselves an oval, wider than it is taller. So you can see, oh yes, lower the quality of your streams. That can help as well. But yeah, definitely sometimes for my end, because too many people are using the internet. I want to use the internet, but everyone needs the internet right now. So we have our cylinder, and we're going to be drawing her slightly looking to the side. So I'm going to draw my middle line going slightly to the side, and then the line across for the eyes. So that's the basic figure that we've always been starting out with. See, I am a fan of that. I like seeing how characters evolve in different ways. Some characters make really cool good guys, like Spike from Buffy. That's a really fun one. Like, I think it's really fun. Depending on how you do it, I think a good villain could be also always a good hero. And vice versa. Sometimes a good hero can become a good villain. As long as it's done well. Guys, so we usually draw ovals, and if you want to draw an oval first, just to guide you, draw an oval that starts lower and ends higher. We're just doing this oval as a guide to know how to place the eyes. So you can see how my oval is going up, and I'm just doing this as a place marker in case it's a little difficult for anyone drawing. So now at the end of your oval right here, you can extend it to a tip. We're drawing her sassy-eyed, so extend it to a tip and it go over and then tip it right at the end. So if you want to flare it out up a little bit, you can, and then connect it back down. So we're thinking sassy eyes today. So once again, we'll make a little tip, go up and over, and swoosh it up just a little bit for an eyelash at the end, and then come back. So these are very cat-like sassy eyes. And she has a little button-up nose, so we're just going to draw a little almost upside-down U-shape or a little mountain for her nose. And I'm going to be drawing her looking up and slightly to the side. I know it's very rare that someone wrote, I hardly ever see heroes being turned to villains. It is rare, but it's so cool when it happens. I'm going to think of a good one. I'm having a brain fart, but I know a couple. So here now, I need you guys to draw a circle, but if you want to watch, my circle is on the higher part of the eye, and it's looking upwards. And I'm going to do the same thing here, trying to keep it the same way. So it's a little half circle on both sides, trying to make sure it looks like she's looking to the side and slightly up, giving her a sassy demeanor. And I'm going to draw her reflection right here at the bottom on both of them. So remember guys, the reflection always goes the exact same way. And then we're going to draw the black inside her eye. So we're doing a circle within a circle, and I'm going to shade mine to show you guys where it is. A circle within a circle. And that is the start of Catwoman. Very sassy. And for the way her face and mask look, so we already know that this is going to be the sides of her face is where the circle ends. And she has a mask that has 2 layers to it. The first layer is blue, and it follows the shape of her eye and goes a little past it. And we're going to do that on both sides. Just a little over the eye and past it. And the second part of her mask is black, and it has a swoosh at the end. So the way I'm going to do that is I'm going to follow the shape of the eye above her nose. And right here, I'm going to connect it to this side of the mask, swoosh it upwards, a little bit past. And do the same thing at the bottom and curve it upwards. So if you want to see how I do that, I start with a tip right here. So it's almost like a tiny triangle. And I go up and curve back. She has a very cat-like smile. I go down and back up, very cat-like smile. And then the lip almost follows the shape of the nose, but it's a little bit bigger. And connects right at the end there. And then the bottom, just connect that all together. Very sassy Catwoman today. I haven't drawn her in a while. And now we can work on the sides and the top of her face. So right here, you could go to the side of the face, follow the circle, but you're not going to follow the circle because you're going to come to a tip. Side, and downwards to a point. Very sassy. And then you can draw 2 lines on either side to show that I always have had a problem drawing soft features and long hair. Definitely, soft features and long hair are very hard to draw. Especially if you're used to drawing more masculine features or males. Unfortunately, today we're not going to be drawing a lot of soft features or long hair. But we did some with the DC superhero girls. And now the top of her head is right here. And I'm leaving a little gap here because that's where her ears are going to go. And I'm just going to give her a sassy look. So the way I'm going to do that, I'm going to draw, she has like these lines for eyebrows. So we're going to curve it, start from up, curve it down to where it meets the mask, and then up and over the mask. Very sassy look. And let's do the same thing on this side, but let's raise this one a bit more. Very sassy Catwoman today. And she has really, really big ears. So the ears will start on both sides about the same place on the head. And just so you know where they end, they're going to end right here on the mask. So you can see already how big the ears are going to be. So the way I do the ears is I'm going to go up, and then I'm going to curve in and come to a point. So it's almost like a curve. So up, down, up. Then on this side, I'm going to go curve in just a little bit, then curve out, and connect it to the face. I'm going to do the same thing on the other side, but slightly less wide because her head's going to be a little bit in perspective. So once again, I'm going to go up, curve to a point, and I want to make sure to curve in and curve back down and connect it to that point right there. Sure this is still in frame since I'm not fully paying attention. So now we have that basic shape. And now the inside part of her ear is just a line that connects back to her head. And it connects back to where we left that gap. So there's the start of our very sassy. Oh, yes. The wedding, not wedding, Catwoman, Batman. Me too. I don't want to spoil anything for you guys, but definitely had a sad moment with the comics. I'm all up for And attach it to a cylinder is I'm going to do a line, and I'm slanting this line because I'm going to show that her shoulders are slanted. She'll have her hand on her hip, very sassy looking lady today. And then I am going to do a line down the middle for her body, and since she is a female, she does have a curve to her body, so I'm going to curve out for her chest and then curve back in. So this is going to be the center of her body right here. And now on this side right here, I could start trying to figure out where her arms sit. So I'm going to create a socket for her arms on both sides. And I'm going to create the side of her body. So her waist will go in on her waist and come out. Guys, I was not paying attention to what I was doing. There we go. Draw the line this way for her hips. Because remember, guys, I was talking about opposites. So if this shoulder is up, this hip goes down. Like, try standing in the same position with your hand on your hip but one leg out. You'll notice that you will be standing on a slant. And right here is her chest, and it's going to dip into her waist and dip out to her hips. What is my favorite portrayal of Catwoman in movies or TV? Oh my gosh, that's actually a really hard one. I like the animated series Catwoman. The DC superhero girls in both her portrayals is really fun too. There's so many good ones. I don't know. I just really like the character. She's very well done usually. Alrighties. So now we have the hips. We're having the basic shape of the body. So this socket right here, her arms are quite thick. So I'm going to go from the neck and I'm going to round this line up to create a shoulder. And I'm going to go down towards the elbow. And now I'm going to follow a cylinder shape on this side to follow that basic shape. And right here will be the bottom of her arm, and I'm going to curve it in and towards the hip. And this side right here, this is the top of her arm. So I'm going to go from the elbow right here to show how her arm bends. And I'm going to go up and then down because I'm drawing this part of the arm and hers is thicker, so I'm just exaggerating it a bit more. And this shoulder right here is down. So I'm just going to go up and curve it out a bit. And I'm just going to do a cylinder for her forearm. I'm going to attach it to another cylinder for the bottom of her arm. So if you fold that out, it goes over and under. So the way you could draw the hand on the hip, it will be a little difficult, but follow me. I need you guys to create a slightly rounded triangle going this way, going in and out a little, and then round it out. So it looks almost like you're creating this weird triangle shape right here. And then right above it, I want you to create a very thin triangle. It's very long and thin, and it curves a bit. This triangle right here is going to be 3 fingers, so then it goes 1, 2, so it's 1, 2, 3. You want to only create 3 fingers, and this one right here is her last finger. And if you want to draw a line, you could draw a line right above it, curving this way and connecting it back to the arm. So now it looks like her arm is sitting on this hip right here. Now let's move down to her legs, because as of right now, Catwoman has no legs. So the way we're going to do that is, you know where you have the outside of the body, and you drew that line connecting it? I want you guys to draw a cylinder going inwards this way, because this is going to be her leg that goes in. She's going to be standing with slight sass. And then I want you to where the knee would be connected to another cylinder. And make your cylinder a little thinner at the bottom. And then once again, connect it to this another cylinder, which will be the leg. We're going to clean that up afterwards. We're just getting the basic shape right now. And this leg right here is going to be basically standing on the ground. So we're going to go create a cylinder, cap it around where the knee is, and create another cylinder going down to the ground. And this cylinder right here will be pointing about the same way. Now for her hands right here, I want you guys to create a little cylinder, not too big. It's more of an circle right here. Right about here is we're going to go create and go on the outside of this little circle you created. And then once again, you want to come to a point. And then this cylinder right here, go on the opposite side of it, just so you know how thick the hand is, and create another thicker triangle. We're creating very simple hands today. In that triangle, I want you to do 1, 2 lines. And then this thumb and finger, you could connect it right here. Very simple claw-like hands. Bigger proportions, they're all different and it depends on the series, really. I should know this by heart, but there's like a dimension of how many heads each character should be. And that is really just looking at it. Like this character, her feet are actually a tiny bit short because I didn't draw her tall enough. That's a total my bad. But then she's about 2.5 of her own heads tall, which really it should be more like 3, I think. 1, yeah, that's a my bad, but she should be about, give or take, 3 of her own heads tall. But with animated characters, it depends really on the characters themselves, because real proportions too, and I know I'm going to say this, you guys can look it up on Google, because that is a very good questions of how proportionate a figure should be. But I don't know it off the top of my head. But anywho, let's start working on the legs. So we're going to go out on the hips that we created, and we're going to start working with this leg right here. And we're going to go to the knee. We're going to go down, and I'm going to follow the cylinder and just pop it out and lower it back in. Now, she has cute little stubby feet, so I'm just going to go out a little bit and create that little cylinder foot. Cute little stubby foot. And her boot ends right about here. And I'm just going to draw a line showing that this is where the top of her body ends. And I'm going to go out to this cylinder right here. And since she is standing, I'm going to keep it quite straight because she's standing slightly to the side. And then the back of the leg goes here. And we connect it to the little cylinder that we drew. And then since this leg is more forward and leaning, this line right here is this line right here. Because this line's more in perspective. And this line's slightly more back. Yeah, I definitely made her leg short. Sorry guys, that's what happens sometimes when you're working on an angle. I know I should totally have an auto answer for Google. Google is unfortunately just too helpful. Well, not unfortunately. You don't know how lucky you guys are to have Google and the internets. Whenever I had to look up something, I had to go to the library and look up how to draw books and look up everything through the books and take a pile of books home, which were very heavy, but it was great exercise. I wish I had the internet. Oh my goodness, it makes everything so much quicker. Sorry, I was just taking a coffee break. All right, now Catwoman has big gloves, so the gloves end here, and they end here, and the inside of her arm there. I don't know if I mentioned that. And she has a belt, so the way the belt goes, it goes across this way, kind of where you drew that line, and then it goes down this way. And that's a basic shape to her belt. And there are little details to her belt, like there's a second line here. You could draw little X's to show that it's a rope. All right, and now the tail. This is actually almost like her whip tail. So the way we're going to do that, we're going to start from behind the hip. We're going to go down, and we're going to loop back in. Kind of like a little spiral. And the spiral starts a little bit thicker, and it starts getting a little tiny bit thinner, and it ends in 3 points. 1, 2, 3. And there are little X's to show that it's a rope going down. 1, 2, X's, 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 X's. There you go. So that's our Catwoman. Definitely getting the hang of this, but you guys could see the patterns that we have working on these over and over. It really is learning the patterns, how to apply them to your when you want. I've been having a lot of fun with these blue color changing ones, so I'm just going to go Catwoman blue. Really enjoyed it, so maybe in the future we could all go to the library, because it's great, guys. Right now, use the internet and stay at home and watch these. So I'm going to start with the eye. So I'm going to go top of the eye, and do my little point right here. Very sassy look. Go to the bottom, inside of the eye, reflection, and the black part. And this way right here, go above, little point, the bottom, go this side right here, down and over, reflection, and the black part of her eye. I'm going to do her little nose just so I know what to avoid when I do more lines. Sorry guys, I just hit the camera. I'm trying to get a good angle on this. Follow this around. Follow this over. Connect it back. Follow that over. Go blue. Connect that. Go up and over. Go up and over. And then we're going to do the lip. Curve in. Whoops, my doggo is starting to snore. Sorry, guys. And the lip. Yes, and make sure to wash your hands, guys. Very, very important. The tip right here goes back to the face. And if you guys have any questions, this is a really good time. It's when I'm inking. Ask away. The little tips right here. The top of her head. I should really move this somewhere else. There we go. Let's put that there. And up and over. And down. And up. And up and over. And connect. And the eyebrow. And this eyebrow. Just gonna sharpen this quickly. Arm. Just gonna show it's a little behind the hip. The 3 points we connected here. 1, 2, 3. The slant of the upper hand and the finger. And I'm not going all the way, guys. I'm just going to go stop there. Connect that. Connect that. And right there. Oh my gosh. Odith, you are such a snoring baby. I don't know if you guys can hear. It's pretty funny. Give me a second. Hey, sweetheart. Hey, buddy. Odith. Sweetie. Ooh, you are dreaming. Come on, baby. Hey. Hey. Hi. I know, but you're being so loud. Sorry, guys. I am back. All right. And the shoulder down. Line there. And the hand we created, if you guys want to watch to see how I ink it, just make sure you guys pick all the right lines. The point right there, connected to that point right there. The inside, 1, 2. And the outside of the body. Do the connect it down this way. Whoop. And the legs. And the belt right here. X, X, X. And the belt right here. X, X. I got a little blurry. Well. And now the tail. Whoosh. And points. 1, 2, 3. Curve it back towards the body. And then X, 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 X. There we go. There's our little Catwoman today. Would you ever consider doing a drawing challenge with different tools like chalk, crayons, or dry erase? Well, I don't have dry erase. I don't have chalk. I don't have crayons. Let me see if I could order some supplies in to play around with. I'll play around with some other supplies. Sorry, guys. I just like playing around with these pencil crayons. They're just fun. I know, I'm so limited. my supplies. Well, technically I'm not. I use a lot of painting supplies, but unfortunately painting every day during the week just would take up a lot of time and we won't be able to keep learning all these patterns. So at least we have one painting day, and I know not everyone has painting supplies, but most of us have at least a marker or a pencil crayon. So there's Catwoman. Dum dum dum. Ta-da! We finished our first drawing. Do we have? Yeah, I think we could go. He's definitely a complicated character, but I thought it was a really fun request. So I wonder if there's any guesses to who it might be. You can hang out with Catwoman right there. You can go there. So for the Teen Titans Go fans, we are gonna work on a bust, so just like the head of a really popular Teen Titans Go, I guess you could say, villain. But because of how complicated he is, and I knew if we drew the full figure of him, we would not have time to do two today. So we're gonna do a bust, well, mainly just a headshot of Trigon. I think this is gonna be fun. And don't get intimidated, guys. He is definitely a bit of a complicated character with many eyes and such. I'm just gonna put paper underneath again. Alrighties. Catwoman, do you want to come hang out here? We finished you today. You should have the honor of hanging out with us while we do this. So once again, grab your pencil and grab your eraser. So he's going to start off a tiny bit different. Oh, sorry guys, just checking comments really quickly. Someone's very excited about the second choice. All right. You are welcome. So how we're going to do this is we're going to start with an oval, but we're going to be attaching a secondary shape to this oval because he has a ginormous chin. And we're going to be drawing him forward because I think it's the best way to work with him right now because of how complicated he is. So I want you to draw a line down the middle, and I want you to extend it past the circle. Dr. Light would have been a very good choice as well, but he was not on the list when I asked people stuff, was he? I don't think he was. Trigon was actually recommended twice, so he definitely joined this more than twice, I think. I don't know why. He was actually surprisingly really popular. All right, so as you can see, I have the circle for the head, but I extended it quite far. And I would say I extended it about the halfway point to the head. So if this is 1, 2, 3, draw a line right here at the bottom, because that line is going to be the bottom of his chin. And right here, we have the line for the eyes. Well, technically, we're going to be doing double eyes, but this is the main line for the eyes that we're going to be working with today. And the line for the eyes, so you have this weird shape right here. You have a circle, you have a line down the middle connecting to a line. Definitely a little different than what we worked on in the past. So now for Trigon. He has a cute nose, so if the eyes are going to sit here, the nose is going to sit just below the eyes, and it's going to be a mountain top that curves in on both sides. So it looks almost like an arrow. I guess it's, yeah, it does look like an arrow, doesn't it? So draw yourselves an arrow shape. And where you have the eye lines, I want you guys to draw a line that goes from above your line for the eyes down to it, because he's going to be angry. And then go up. And do the same thing on both sides. Just so you guys know, I have not drawn Trigon in a very long time, so I'm learning as you guys go. I tried to come up with the lesson plan to draw him today, but I always forget parts of him. So this is also a good learning lesson for me if I make sure I get it right. And now we're going to attach a half circle as his first set of eyes. So now we have a nose, we have the eyes. Now right above those eyes, this is why we drew your circle is slightly taller right here, is we're going to do the same shape for his second eyes, but it's going to be smaller. So go up, safely above, so you can know where your anger line goes. Draw a line following the same shape but smaller. And then curve it back in. Make sure I'm a little more centered on the camera. One of these days you're going to see my hair like pop into the camera and you're like, what is that part? That is Agnes's hair. Alrighties, and just as a little place marker for yourselves, right about where your little anger lines end, draw yourselves a little triangle, because this is the little headpiece, little triangle piece he has, and you could draw a line down the middle. Raven has the exact same on her face. Someone said drawing irregular characters were fun drawing as a kid. I just draw anything and hope it turned into something. I used to like drawing Godzilla. Oh, I like drawing Godzilla. Godzilla's really fun to draw. Oh, I can't wait for you guys to hear when one of my things is announced. I think you guys might have fun with that. So now we have a basic shape for Trigon. And the way his head goes, it's very irregular. So we're going to go and work with the shapes we have. Just below where we have your little eye line, I want you guys to draw a line that cuts into this circle because his head starts thicker and it gets more narrow. I'm just doing the head today. And the way his hairline goes, it starts lower and ends higher. And now we can start figuring out his chin and his smile and so forth. So right here, because he has basically hair on the sides of his face, what's your favorite monster to draw growing up? Ooh, actually I like drawing Godzilla. I just like drawing dinosaurs, so I just kept drawing dinosaur monsters. I really liked him. He was definitely a fun character for me to draw since I really like dinosaurs, so I just turned them into random dinosaur monsters. I like drawing vampires and zombies and all sorts of ghouls because I was big into horror as a kid. I still really am, actually. Alright, so let's continue here. I want you guys now right here to draw a point, just a little triangle on both sides that's pointing upwards. There's a reason we're doing this. I'll explain to it in a second. And the lower part of the point, and if you guys need a little measuring tool, so if you went about a line here, so you can see there's room on either side of my fingers. So I'm going to keep it room on either side of my fingers. So I'm going to do the line just slightly past my finger. So keeping it about the same distance here, same distance here. And I'm going to take this and I'm going to connect it to my square leg shape at the bottom right here. I'm going to do that on both sides. So connect it. If you need your little measuring tool, use your fingers. Your fingers make awesome measuring tools. So now you can see he has this giant chin. And there's a reason why we did this point, because now we could use it to do the hair on either side. So this line right here, extend it just a little bit past. And right here, go out. So now you're making this thicker. Now we're going to be adding 2 points. Remember when we were talking about hair and animals? For those of you who tuned in, we're going to be doing the same thing. So we're going to go out and we're going to go back in to create a point for this hair. It's a very good simple hair lesson again. And we're going to go down, out, and create a point, and then connect it all together. I'm going to do the same thing on this side. I'm going to go out into a point. I'm going to go once again out to a point and connect it all together. So some of you might know recognizing what he might look like. So now we're going to draw him looking very angry, snickering. So the way we're going to do that is we're going to start downwards. If you want to start with this little almost like U-like, very wide U-like shape, and go round it back up and down. And do the same thing on the other side. We're drawing him very angry. And the bottom of his lip, we're going to start with a point and we're going to go upwards. And now we're going to do zigzags for the teeth. So we're just going to make a whole bunch of zigzags going up and down, up and down. It's like a good exercise, up and down, if you're doing squat or jumping. So now we can add some horns. Why don't we add some horns? He could really use those horns. We set those place markers. Let's start using them. So at the side of your circle, I want you to go up into the side. Up into the side, just like that. And then come to a point and change your angle a bit. And go slightly closer in. And then you could draw a little oval at the end here, showing that this is where his horn ends. And you could go down a little bit, not all the way. Then we're gonna go out, completely other direction. So almost like we're creating a V. And then we're gonna do a rounded shape right here. We're not gonna come to a complete angle, we're gonna round it. And we're gonna go back up, and then come to a close. So there's a basic shape for his antlers-ish. Ish. It could look different. Even set yourself little guidelines. So I know this will end about here. I know this will end about here. This will end about here. So I'm giving myself guides to keep everything proportionate, because remember, I erase everything afterwards, so it doesn't matter. And then I could also set myself a guide putting this middle circle up so I know how far now to go. So right here, I'm looking, it ends about here. So now I have little guides. Oh yeah, this is actually a really good structure for a Hellboy drawing, as someone mentioned. Hellboy's really cute and fun to draw. So now I have guides. I'm going to try to use them. So I'm going to go, because I have a guide here that I set up so I could connect my points together. And up and over, I set myself the guide so I know where to put the oval. You can see, guys, we use a lot of guides to make sure we draw things proportionately as best to our ability. And that is how we figure out how characters should be, and just don't be afraid to give yourself little help along the way. Remember, this curves slightly inwards. Draw the top of his head and right about right here. So you can see I added little dots slightly below his horns. That's going to be the top of his head, because you're going to draw a little bit of a line and then connect it to the top of his head. And he needs ears. He has pointy ears, so his ears will start at about right here, where the eyes are. And his ears will connect back down to where there. It does look like a TV antenna. I haven't seen TV antennas in forever, but they're fun to draw. All right, so now we're going to draw the first ear. Now you're going to start lower and end higher. If you want a little place marker, I'm going to end about right here. And draw a line. And then you could use reference of your own drawing to see how far everything should go. And that way you could keep everything proportionate. And now it's going to be a cylinder shape, so it's going to curve and go back in. And curve and go back in. And then the inside of his ear has a line, and then a little circle. A line and a little circle. Whoo-wee, this is hard work, right guys? I know. And this line right here is going to be his hairline, and it's going to go out. So now we know that it's going to go behind his ears. Now let's jump around down a little bit. He has quite a large, wide chest. So the way we're going to do that is we're going to go below the chin, because this is where his neck is. And we're going to draw almost like two bat wing shapes. And attached to his chest are his very broad shoulders. So they're going to be two circles that don't really close, but draw two circles on each side. Two circles. That means the rest of his body is going to be basically be down here if we were going to be drawing it, but we're just going to stop right here for now, because we want to finish off the top of his head. So his outer hair will be going out, so it's following this line right here, and connect to his chest. Out and connect, well, technically connect to his shoulders. Connect to those shoulders, those very, very broad shoulders. And his hair has little points here, so feel free to add little points for his hair. Little points for his hair. I'm going to make it a little more uneven on this side. So this is his very, very thick neck. And right here is going to be his hair. So we see where we drew this line? We could follow it out right here on both sides. And then we can add some points for his hair and connect it back down. Points to his hair and connect it back down. And if you just want to add a little detail to his shoulders, he has that same shape a little smaller underneath. Keeping them even. So down, up, down, up. Shade that in. And once again, down, up, and shade that in. And there you go. Somehow we managed to draw a little Trigon head. Ooh, maybe I'm going to use this one today. Yeah, I don't think I have any other tools handy on me right now. Sorry guys, I have my tool. Whoops. Guess I can't even open that right now. Trying to see if I have anything else fun to play with today. Glowy markers. Oh, fun. Let me see, where are you? I just saw you. It has a metallic sheen to it, so I'm going to try that today. Why not? So now we're going to be grabbing our inking tools. Yep, someone mentioned that they're recognizing a style in the way he's drawn to a character from Dexter's Lab. Yep, a lot of things are patterned. So I'm cool. Sorry, I'm not used to using this tool, so I'm gonna have to make sure not to press too hard. Circle, go down, go up. Trying a new tool today, so he's going to be purple. Technically he's red, but today he's purple. So with this brush pen, I'm learning right away that I have to be very careful how hard I push. And it's a Zig marker. In case you guys are wondering what I'm using right now, it's a Zig metallic marker. It's pigment ink, archival. It's very fun. I think I've used this for some backgrounds before. I've never actually painted with this yet, but you know what? That's what experimenting is. We don't always know how something will look, and we have to experiment. Try it out, see if we like it, see if it's something we're going to use again. Be very delicate with this one. The lines do go on quite thickly. It's a very thick brush, that's why. Let me turn it this way. And over. Definitely not the steadiest line quality today. And if you have any questions, guys, this is a very good time to ask. And once again, on Friday, win the piece. We're on if you want it DC or Marvel. And if you have character recommendations, please let me know as well. And the code word of this week is villain. I kept it simple since I completely forgot the code word last week. And the lucky winner of the piece actually remembered both the code words. I was like, oh, you're so awesome. I love it that you watch. And congratulations to the winners of every week. It's really fun. You never know who's going to win the arts. And that's my way of saying thank you for tuning in. Thank you for enjoying the stream. I know we can't see each other right now, and it is a bummer, but at least we can interact this way. This drawing, actually has a slight sheen to it. You can't really see the metallic sheen very well on camera, but when it dries, I'll try to see if, when I erase the pencils, if you guys can see it. But this metallic one definitely has a little bit of a sheen. Not as much as my watercolors. My watercolors definitely have a very, just a little difficult to see. Sorry guys, the reason I'm moving the paper is it just takes a moment to dry, and I want to make sure not to put my hand in any spots while they're still wet. That's it, because it's still wet, but it has a slight metallic finish. Yeah, I ordered a lot of random materials, a lot, because I love trying new materials. Both inexpensive and expensive ones. Like I've discovered glow-in-the-dark paint. Did anyone know there's glow-in-the-dark paint? I sure didn't till I discovered it. And there we go. We did 2 drawings today, guys. Good job. Instagram is just my name, Agnes Skarboska, for a chance to win Friday's piece. And remember, guys, hold down your paper when you erase so you don't destroy your art. And erase gently. This part's a little wet, so I gotta be careful. Oh, my thumb left a little bit of an imprint in the purple. So you could definitely have my thumbprint. Lucky person. Maybe we'll have this with my lucky thumbprint. Who knows? Please don't clone me. Trust me. Not worth cloning. Alright. Oh yeah, you can definitely see a little bit of the sheen in the darker spots. So I'm going to put this up. I wonder if you guys can see it, but you can see it has a tiny bit of a metallic reflection. You can mainly see it in the black sections right here.